Irish guy, and England are winning Euro 2024, right? No. No. What was that? A grueling, draining, soul-destroying 1-0 slogfest against Serbia. Lads, Serbia are not a team who anybody should fear. I'm sorry, but the only teams they've actually beaten since the last World Cup were Cyprus, Montenegro, Lithuania, Jordan, and America in a friendly. This is a side who are recently having to settle for a draw at home to Bulgaria. I mean, if Karasako is lying awake in the dead of night, living in fear of this putrid side, it will be about as irrational as me choosing to have nightmares about My Little Pony. Look, we have seen some great attacking football in the first few days of the Euro so far. I mean, Germany just blew Scotland away on the opening night, scoring 5 goals, and lads, you know what the spooky thing is? I predicted they'd do exactly that. I also thought that Wirtz, Musiala, and Havertz would score, but still, I mean, I accurately predicted Spain to beat Croatia 3-0, and I also said that England would squeeze a 1-0 win over Serbia. So, to be fair, that weird little video I did is becoming stupidly accurate. But lads, I stand by my shout. Germany are winning Euro 2024. For anybody who thought that England would win, now you're all looking about as foolish as anybody who believes that Simon Cowell's Botox looks good. He looks like if you squashed an alien with a truck. The exuberance, the brilliance, the attacking verve of Germany. Contrast that with the English side, who, yeah, while some of the players are freakishly talented, they mostly look like sluggish, burnt out bunny rabbits who haven't eaten for a month. I mean, don't get it wrong. Jude Bellingham was magnificent, and what he is doing is incredible. To be off the back of a 23-goal debut season for Madrid, where he's just lifted the Champions League trophy above his head at Wembley, to now be dominating games for England, scoring the winner in a European Championships match on what is already his 30th cap at just 20 years of age. But if I were his brother, I would be a jealous, resentful hamster of a kid. This is somebody who is literally the face of the England side. He's got Adidas adverts gassing him up. The Beatles are probably going to squirm their way back into the UK charts solely because of him. Poor old Jude Bellingham. He is the Deji of the family. This is somebody who has done brilliantly himself, don't forget. He's only 18 years of age. He's an England under-20 international and just played nearly 50 games last season, scoring 7 goals from midfield for Sunderland in the Championship. And right now, he's linked with the move to either Brentford or Crystal Palace. This is somebody who should be the toast of the family. But do you reckon any of the Bellingham cousins are really boasting to their friends at school that they are related to him? Do you think when all the extended family gets together at Christmas, that his cousins are really bothered about playing Cluedo with him? No, he can eat his turkey while sitting on the toilet for all they care. I mean, this is someone who has chosen not to wear the Bellingham name on the back of his shirt. I mean, is that because he now hates his dad? Like Delhi, Memphis, or Van Dijk? No, it's probably because he's sick of trying to compete for attention with the most exciting young footballer in the world. No, because these days, all he is in the big moments is just a cheerleader for his big bro. It's the exact same reason why Zinedine Zidane's son wears Enzo on the back of his shirt. I mean, if you're a relative of somebody who wore the number 5 shirt for Real Madrid, then you are ditching your surname. But lads, the rise of Bellingham has been insane. But because I've seen England get burnt by some of their so-called teenage wonder kids in the past, I refuse to buy into his hype at Birmingham City when he was 16 years of age. Just watch.
Lads, he has just over 30 career games under his belt for Birmingham. Sure, he might turn out good, but big money speculation links to Real Madrid, tipping him for Euro 2020. Does no one remember John Bostock? But if he starts commanding wages of £100,000 a week, then...
Oh, wow, that's embarrassing. I actually thought he was one of the most overrated footballers in the world. Yeah, that makes me sound like I got the brain cells of burnt Swiss cheese, because look at what he is doing now. Serbia have just lost an important Euro 2024 match, and yet you've got Dusan Vlahovic literally smiling for the cameras because he's got his hands on Bellingham's shirt. This is supposed to be a proud Juventus centre forward, and yet he's now probably squealing down the phone to his mum because he's managed to steal a selfie with an English celebrity. Yuck! But yes, while Bellingham was fantastic last night, the rest of England's attacking players were not. Phil Foden is increasingly looking like that special generational talent who is never gonna do it for England. Why? Why is it that at every single international tournament, this Manchester City superstar absolutely freezes, sucking in this pathetic stage fright performance? Look, he's not a child anymore. This is it. He's 24. I was cutting his slow England career slack because, I mean, a world great like Andres Iniesta, he started his international career slowly too. This Barcelona megastar didn't make his debut for Spain until he was 20. He was only given one match at the 2006 World Cup, the dead rubber final group game against Saudi Arabia. He wasn't even given a single minute in any of the other 3 games. I mean, little Liverpool hobbit Luis Garcia, by contrast, someone who was capable of the odd wonder goal but whose overall play was more average than Ollie Murray's haircut, someone whose peak at his best best was on par with Philip Coutinho at Aston Villa. Well, he was playing instead of Iniesta. It looked crazy, right? I mean, considering this Casper the Ghost look-alike was off the back of a Champions League winning season for Barcelona, Spanish fans would have been absolutely in their rights to absolutely throw teacups at the telly. Because can you imagine if Southgate had also stapled Foden to the bench after the monster season he's just had? I actually think the internet would explode. But still, despite starting slowly, when Iniesta was 24, he was starting every single match in Spain's peerless midfield as they won Euro 2008 with ease. He had arrived on the international stage. He was making that tournament his own. Foden, by contrast, is still looking like a frightened little squirrel. I wouldn't be shocked if this man goes on to have the same frustrating international career as Paul Scholes. Again, another gruff Mancunian midfielder who saw himself as a central midfielder. He was so offended that Sven-Göran Eriksson kept stuffing him on the left wing that he retired from international football at 29. I mean, the guy then had a desperate Fabio Capello begging him to come out of retirement and come to the World Cup in South Africa when he was 35. He said no. Scholes never did much in an England shirt, certainly nothing close to his amazing levels at Manchester United, and similarly for Foden, last night he was so poor, just as anonymous as he was at the last World Cup, but in particular, the last Euros, where he was garbage in the first two games against Croatia and Scotland, and then only had 25 minutes of international football left in that summer. Just a cameo against Denmark in the semis. Foden is going to have the same England career as Scholes. Come on, Phil, Paul, even their names are similar. But last night, you had Michael Richards and Cesc Fabregas embroiled in a debate on the telly over Foden. Fabregas saying that Phil's poor performance was all on him, with Richards saying,
No, it wasn't his fault.
lads, Fabregas is one of the most expert midfield brains of all time. Richards is the class clown on the telly. The bloke covering up so many TV jobs, just placed in there to cackle like some robotic laughing teddy bear. He is what the laugh track was for Friends. Don't try and get into a debate with Cesc Fabregas. If he says it was Foden's fault, it was Foden's fault. Playing on the left wing, that is not the issue here. Iniesta was one of the great central midfielders the world has ever seen. He was asked to play left wing over 100 times. I mean, the first time he was ever asked to do that was weirdly against Newcastle United, where he was being marked by Andy Griffin, someone who probably now does the night shift at McDonald's. But Iniesta never grumbled when asked to play out of position to accommodate a Deco, a Yaya Toure, a Thiago Alcantara, a Cesc Fabregas, or an Ivan Rakitic in midfield. Iniesta was a better central midfielder than all of them. He could have complained if he wished, but no, he just got on it and was still a creative demon from the wing. Foden can do it on the left wing too. Of course he can. He scored a derby hat-trick from the left wing. So this is not a positional thing. This one is not Southgate's fault. This is just a Foden who needs to wake up and own the England shirt, because right now he looks like a terrified 8-year-old who suddenly has to play the role of a prince in the Christmas pageant. Yeah, he's 3 lines in and he's already soaked his toes in wheat. Look, if I was English, I wouldn't have had an issue with the lineup. It was the perfect thing to do. Although I know people will be moaning that England should have set up with a dream midfield 3 of Rice, Bellingham and Foden. No, what sort of deluded, naive fantasy land are you living in? Not one of them is a true number 6. That is an 8 and 2 10s in the same midfield. Oh dear. That would be like if Brazil had picked an ill-disciplined midfield 3 of Juninho, Kaká and Ronaldinho. Yeah, all 3 complete world stars, sure, but that is a sort of lopsided lineup, which would probably have you 5-0 down at halftime to Germany. I mean, to be fair, when Brazil did lose 7-1 to Germany for real, it wasn't due to midfield naivety. They actually started that game with not 1, but 2 out-and-out midfield destroyers in Fernandinho and Luis Gustavo. So how? How are they that defensively bad? Lad, Gareth Southgate has been tipped for a job at Manchester United. Can we stop the nonsense, please? It's actually outrageous that his name is still being mentioned in those circles. Look, he has done a decent job with England, and he's done far better than if he'd stuck with boring old Big Sam. I mean, don't get it twisted. The FA stumbled upon Southgate due to sheer luck. I mean, their actual choice was to get mouldy old Allardyce out of Sunderland. I mean, they were choosing to interview Steve Bruce from Hull over giving Southgate the job. I mean, Gareth has lasted 8 years in this now. Hands up. Who thinks Big Sam would still be here now? No chance. He would have been given the 2018 World Cup, where an incredibly Route 1 ugly England team with Chris Smalling at the back would have bored everyone to tears. All the players would be so beaten down and bored and utterly hating international breaks that they wouldn't even have had the stomach or hunger to squeeze past Colombia. He would have then been given Euro 2020, where England would have done nothing. First of all, an English era of football where Allardyce is the king of the village. It would have been some Neanderthal grueling era where Aaron Wan-Bissaka was vice captain, and average England would be dumped out by Germany in the last 16. Big Sam would have been sacked, and in his place, ironically, probably an available Eddie Howe. So actually, would English fans have bothered 5 more years of insufferable Allardyce paradise pain, where watching the national team would really been about as much fun as slurping slugs with a straw. Would they have gone through that to guarantee themselves an actually elite forward-thinking coach like Howe? Because as it stands, when Southgate leaves next month, I mean, with Graham Potter probably getting snapped up by Leicester City, then who is left? I'll tell you who. Frank Lampard. Yuck! But yes, if Southgate was in club football, I thought about being generous and saying that he's at the level of a Crystal Palace, a club who routinely made it a habit out of hiring ex-England managers. But no, because even then, Oliver Glasner is on another tactical level to Southgate. And get Oliver and Gareth to discuss tactical ideologies in the same room for even 10 minutes. And I promise you, Southgate is going to look so confused and lost, as if you got me in a room with a math scientist. Yeah, he's explaining to me the Pythagoras theorem, whilst I'm sitting in the corner shoving cookies up my nose. Honestly, Southgate is probably at the level of a Southampton. That's it. After Russell Martin, he's worse than every other manager in the Premier League. Well, maybe not the 31-year-old donut at Brighton. That's just more on him later. England are not winning Euro 2024. Absolutely not. Euros just is not England's tournament. It never is. You always bottle it. I mean, lads, it's crazy to think, but England's 1-0 win over Croatia on the opening day at Euro 2020, that was actually the first time England had ever opened the Euros with a win. This is going to be a complete mess. I can see an embarrassing England exit of this tournament. I think Southgate's reign as England boss is going to end on a horrible whimper. Just like Roy Hodgson's against Iceland. I mean, what, you don't think this England team is capable of losing to such a terrible team? You lost to Iceland 2 weeks ago! Honestly, lads, you're in for a horrible summer. It ain't coming home. Anyway, that's Stephen. What do you think? Let me know. What do you think? Let me know in the comment section below. What do you think about England? Let me know in the comments. If you did, don't forget to give a like, share, and subscribe as always. I'll talk to you in a while.